Yo, welcome back to another episode here. My name is Blake. Today we are diving into what is currently present, and that is it. I have nothing else. I have no beautiful hook for you. I have no promise of anything besides speaking to what is true and real for me. Because I wanted to, and also because I have learned that this is the one of the most powerful alchemical processes for me. Because I woke up and I was kind of in a funk and I'm kind of groggy, and I also know that I've been wanting to record an episode. And so sometimes when you're feeling off, take inner inventory of maybe something that you've been wanting to do that you haven't done. These items on your to-do list that calcify over time because you actually want to do them, but you're not doing them. So here I am presenting that in this wildly crazy fucking digital world where you don't even know who I am. Some of you know who I am, but most of you don't. And it's wild. It's crazy. It really is wild. So anyway, if you're here, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to the space. And what I was just thinking about before I hit record that I wanted to speak into is that I love YouTube. I love talking. I love podcasting. I love doing this. And I've long wanted to do the thing. Maybe you can resonate with this. You're always you'll have moments where you feel, all right, now I'm going to finally do the thing. It's time to lock in. It's time to dial in. Let's go. And you can, in those moments, it's so clear that you could succeed. And it's obvious. It's like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to make it look nice. I'm going to have someone help me. And then I'm just going to do a couple episodes and boom, it's going to happen. So those moments that are clear as day, that the way has been set. And now it's just time to take the steps. The inevitability of succeeding in whatever you are doing. Maybe you know those moments. To me, those moments feel like horizon moments where you're standing on the peak and you are looking out over a clear horizon. And maybe you've been kind of lost. You've been wandering through the forest. You haven't really been able to see 10 steps ahead of you. And then you reach the opening and you're on the horizon. It's like, oh, okay, this is where I'm going. This is what's clear to me. It's obvious. I'm going to make it. This is what I need to be doing. Okay, but what tends to happen is after those horizon moments, then we enter back into the valley and we go back into the forest where we can only see 10 steps ahead of us. But we are taking what we saw on the horizon, and hopefully that is what is helping us orient in the forest. That is what is helping us. So we just went into deep metaphor land, but I'm saying this because this is what I felt with YouTube. It's like, I know that I want to do this. I know that I have a path to doing something like this, of sharing my voice, which again is another thing that I've been really interested in. Because some of you might be listening, hearing someone who hasn't quite maybe made it in the sense that I have 2 million subscribers, but that I want to be doing this. You know, how are we relating to our desires to grow a following, to be in a space like this, to have your voice felt and heard. Actually, I'm going to put a pause in that. We're going to revisit that. We're talking about the nature of the roles that we find ourselves in our life, and how that we can organize the roles that we are in around our deeper genius and nature, so that we are actually fully optimizing, and who we are on a deep level is in the best place it could possibly in to thrive, where its gifts are uplifted and nourished. I think it's a really interesting conversation that different people require different rules so that our genius is most optimized and maximized. So we're going to come back and revisit that. So what I was saying, the horizon in the valleys, these moments of peak clear clarity, followed by the actual groundwork of getting there, the step by step, the day by day. And that, I think, is part of the magic of the horizon moments, is that they are, they're like the seed that we carry with us through the valley. And hopefully we remember what that was like. We remember why we're doing what we're doing. We remember that feeling of dreaming into that horizon, and that kind of becomes like the fuel, the spark that we are wanting to nurture, fanning the flame of while we're in the valley. Can we keep that spark alive, or are you gonna give up? You know, because I mean, in some ways, I mean, we're using the example of me wanting to do YouTube, me seeing the inevitability of how amazing this this opportunity of, and not just YouTube, but like podcasting, creating some videos like this, the inevitability of that path being really beautiful and successful, and something that I feel deeply connected to. But not every single day is going to feel like that. Not every single day is going to feel like, oh my gosh, this is the dream. This is what I want to do. It's so clear. It's so obvious. I love this. I'm good at this. Yada, yada, yada. I'm in the horizon. No, I'm not in a horizon day. I'm in a valley day. Today, I didn't want to do it. I haven't, I had this beautiful insight 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to finally start doing it. I'm just going to finally stay super consistent with it, which I've tried doing something like this like 3 times in the past. And I'll go a couple months and then it'll drop off. And I don't think that's necessarily a problem, actually. I think that as I've tracked these different arenas of my life that I have achieved some success in, that's how it always has looked. And Eric Godzi, a mentor of mine, he said, he always uses the example of the Matrix. When they're installing the jump software onto Neo, when they're uploading all of his stuff in the Matrix. And they're watching him try and jump from the building to the building, and everyone's watching like, no one ever makes the first jump, so he can do it, and he fails. So in some ways, people don't always make the first jump. Some people, maybe it's like the first time they commit to YouTube, they stay consistent forever and then they make it. Other people, maybe they try and then they stop, and then they try and they stop. So if you have something like that in your life where you've tried and you've stopped and you've tried and you've stopped, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back around. I wouldn't be surprised if you feel that desire again at some point. Maybe you already do. Maybe you feel that desire, but you've just kind of given up because you failed or whatever. It didn't work the first time. So, again, not everyone makes the first jump, and I kind of see it like you're poking the bear. So you try to open that doorway, and it opens 2 inches, and then it shuts again. And then you try and open that door the next time, and it opens 10 inches, and then it closes. And then maybe the third or fourth time you open it, and you get to walk in. So that's how I feel like with YouTube. And how that relates to the horizon and the valley is that I feel like every time that we get these horizon moments and then we go back into the inevitable valley. Sorry, I just got interrupted by someone. When we go from the horizon, we have the moment, but then we have to go back into the inevitable day by day where maybe it doesn't feel as profound when we're doing it every single time. I think the development over time is that we get better and better at not losing that sight of the horizon. We get better and better at keeping that horizon alive in our day-to-day. And then over time, actually, the horizon almost lives within us. It's not something we see and then it kind of fades away, and then we see it's imprinted within us. Which again, as we're talking about being on some sort of path of mastery, of wanting to achieve a high level of success and achievement within, when we are talking about that, I think what we're inevitably talking about, besides, yes, showing up and being consistent, is we're also talking about generating your why. What is your why? What is your why? Why are you doing this? And remember, for me, like, why am I showing up right now to do this right now? There's 2 parts of it. One is that I actually enjoy being here in this moment with you right now, which to me, that's prerequisite. You've got to enjoy it. But I'm also doing this because I know that horizon. I see that they're there. I see the possibility of me getting to talk to epic people that I want to talk to, feeding my curiosity, living a lifestyle that is supported by what I'm doing here. Maybe eventually this is a huge part of how I make money too. And then how I am making money is directly supporting my unique curiosity, interests, and skill of speaking, or skill of using my mind in unique ways. And so, again, I'm kind of dropping all these seeds that could be an entire video on itself, but that's another thing. Like, how do we organize our income streams around our unique interests, curiosities, gifts, and skills? Because then over time, it's just like this generating machine where you're getting paid to do the thing that you would want to do anyways. And again, I know that that's maybe feels really far out there for some of you, and that's okay. I'm not fully there yet. And that's where I want to go. And that's the thing. Like, if that is possible, which I don't care what any of you say, that 100% that kind of lifestyle is possible where you are getting paid to explore your interests, curiosities, and gifts. If that is possible, which it is, then I think that is how we ought to live. And so it's not to shame where you are. It's not to say where you are is wrong right now, but that's the North Star. And that's what I want to work to. And each day, each week, we are starting to spend more time doing those things, starting to nurture that North Star, that timeline. And then over time, I think it naturally will kind of start to blend into what we're doing. And then hopefully the whole transition into that way of living can take place. So that's another video. But for today, I was in the valley big time this morning. I had that big insight with YouTube, wanting to really go for it again. I posted a bunch of videos in that first week, and then I dropped off. And it's been like a week or two since I posted anything. And part of it was because my video qualities aren't good. I'm not this crazy good editor at all. In fact, I barely do any edits at all. It's just raw footage, and then I'm posting clips, and there's a part of me that's like, that's not good enough. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't do that. You need to get all this beautiful equipment and have this editor and stuff like this, which then creates more distance from me and actually being able to do the thing. Because I have been exploring now working with someone who could do better editing and stuff. And guess what? I haven't posted in like a week or two. And so again, this is so bigger. This is so much bigger than just YouTube, because I see this. I've done this in many different arenas of life. How are you creating distance between you and just doing the thing, you know? And maybe how are you getting lost in the preparation and in the planning, and you have barely taken any step at all? Because let's use YouTube, for example. I can go on YouTube right now and find hundreds of people just like me talking about similar stuff who have zero editing, who it is the most minimal thing. And I know, because I've done this, go and look in some of their comments, and there's so many people who are like, oh my gosh, it's such a breath of fresh air that there's no editing, that there's no any of this. And so again, do I really want editing and all this fancy stuff? Or is that I have a story that in order to be successful, I need those things? And I think if we really dug deep on this one, many of us would realize that whether we're in YouTube or music or some other arena of life where we're trying to achieve some form of success, that the story is the latter. It is that we feel in order to succeed, you need to do blank. And then that keeps many of us waiting. It keeps many of us just waiting until we finally get that, whatever was the blank there. For me, the editing, making it look super nice, then I can succeed. Then I can really start going for it. And it's just not true. It's just not true. There's so many examples that prove this wrong. And on another level, I do want my videos to look nice. I do over time want to polish them more. I would like some editing stuff. So again, they can both be true, but like, you know, when I look back on these past 2 weeks, I can feel that in the very background of my life, there is this kind of subtle sort of shame that's growing, that you're not doing the thing. You're not doing the thing that you said you were going to be doing. So here I am sitting back down, starting again, because that's all we can really do, right? Is try again. And so one of the other interesting things here, I think, and again, I keep nailing this point home, but I hope that you can see that everything I'm speaking to applies to pretty much any path where you are trying to achieve mastery/success within. One of the patterns that I have had with YouTube for sure is that I'll hit it super hard for like a week or two, and I'll be like posting, you know, every other day or something, because that would be the ultimate, you know, what is the maximum amount that I could possibly post without actually overwhelming the entire ecosystem? And it's like, okay, I'm going to post every other day and just be wildly consistent and get the there. And that's the thing, is that when we're in the horizon moments, we often, because we're in such a state of like expanded possibility and success feels inevitable in those moments, we make these massive commitments. So like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, because in those spaces, it's so obvious. Of course I can do that. Of course I can do that. And in reality, you could do that. It is in the realm of possibility that you could do those things. But when after we glimpse the horizon and we enter the valley of the day by day lifting, carrying water, and chopping wood, often we fall off the horse of the commitments we made when looking at the horizon. So for me, the every other day YouTube posting just like felt like so much, after a week or two of doing it, and I fell off. And so I think part of learning how to, walk that path, how to walk that path in a sustainable way and truly, achieve the kind of success or mastery, I think is learning ourselves and what we actually have the capacity for. And also recognizing the horizons and the valleys, and recognizing when we're in the horizon, not to create these massive things. Yes, glimpse the possibility, feel the inevitability, but don't create the most crazy game plan that as if like this is going to be the time, now is the time, fully lock in, let's go, this is the moment, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to fully finish the path in 2 weeks kind of thing. Like I think there's a deeper maturity of like, this is amazing, I know that it's inevitable, I know this is my path, and again, I'm playing, this is the long game, we're playing the long game. So for me, asking the question, what is a cadence of consistency to play the long game? Not to where I post 20 times in 2 weeks and then take 2 months off because it was too much, but like every week. And again, that might be one video a week. There's this amazing Steve Jobs quote or it's either Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. I wish I had a Jamie in the back to quote me, but it goes something like, we overestimate what we can do in a day, and we underestimate what we can do in a year. And you can change the timescales, but you get the point. We overestimate it. And for me, it's like sustainability and consistency over time. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. This is me sharing my journey of being on the path of trying to achieve success, build skills in certain arenas, and really learning the game of consistency over time, a deeper development of how to live both within the horizon and in the valleys in a way that is beneficial towards the greater goal of playing the long game of, success over time. So coming back, whatever it is in your life that maybe you are avoiding, or you've fallen off the wagon before, you didn't make that first jump, or maybe you're in a moment where you just glimpse the horizon and you're trying to go all in for a week and, finish the path in a week kind of thing. Like, take a deep breath and maybe, just hold it a bit lighter, and asking yourself, is this really sustainable over the long haul for now? Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe so that you can catch the next one here. If you watch to the end of the video, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your precious time and energy on me in this video. And I'll catch you on the next one.